We good?
Yes.
Okay, the hour being 6:04, we will call the meeting to order. Good evening and welcome. I am Norman Kumalo, Town Manager of the Town of Hopkinton. Welcome to the Town of Hopkinton's Cable License Renewal Public Hearing, which is part of the town's process to ascertain the town's needs relating to both Comcast and Verizon and their cable license renewals. With me today, remotely, is the town's cable council, Bill August. The select board is the cable licensing authority pursuant to Mass General Laws, Chapter 166A. The select board has designated me as the hearing officer and delegated the holding of this cable renewal hearing to me. Under this delegation, I can gather information. However, only the select board can make the final licensing decisions. Notice of this hearing was in the local newspaper on 2 successive weeks. Copies of the legal advertisements are here entered into the record as Ascertainment Hearing Exhibits 1 and 2. By way of background for the public, Comcast's cable television license expires November 14th, 2023, and Verizon's cable license expires on July 10, 2024. Federal and state law require the holding of public ascertainment proceedings, including this hearing. Ultimately, these proceedings will result in either a renewal of Comcast and Verizon's license or a denial of such renewal vis-a-vis both. On behalf of the select board, I will receive comments and testimony about what cable-related needs and interests are important to the public and about how Comcast and Verizon have performed under their existing license. Members of the public, Comcast, Verizon, and other attendees may have questions or submit comments. We also note that as part of the hearing, the town will accept comments about all cable-related matters of interest to the public, including but not limited to customer service, license administration, and cable commitment to community programming and public educational and governmental access. Any questions to Comcast and Verizon should be directed through me, and I will rule whether they are in order. Please keep your comments no longer than 3 minutes. The process of ascertainment of community cable needs and interests will remain open until further notice. Before hearing from the public, let's first welcome and hear from Comcast's representative, who I believe is Greg Franks, for introductory comments. Verizon was unable to send a representative this evening, so we will proceed to comments from the public following Greg Frank's introductory statements. Thank you.
Not seeing Greg Franks.
Bill, we're not seeing Greg Franks.
Greg advised me he would be attending, but I don't see him on the list of attendees or panelists.
So I believe we should proceed to the public's comments.
Exactly. Thank you. Good.
I'm happy to start from me, someone. Yeah.
Please, go ahead.
I know it's hard to start, but I'm happy to start.
Go for it.
I did just send him a text. So if I hear back from the Comcast representative, I'll inform the town manager, Norm.
Yeah. So please, as a rule, when you're making any comments, state your name and address clearly for the stenographer.
Oh, address, mail address?
Yes, as
okay.
well. Yes.
Okay, so I have to look at there, or you?
Up
okay.
There. Yes.
Okay.
And in fact, also one process issue. Bill, I want to confirm that the stenographer is on.
What was the question about the stenographer?
That she is on this call.
I was also advised by Comcast, Greg Franks, that arrangements were made for the stenographer. So that's what we were told. I don't know if the recognize the name of the stenographer in the list. But if the stenographer can hear us and signal by raising her hand on the or
Paula Hemway.
unmuting him or herself to let us know about her presence.
Someone with a raised hand.
Oh, somebody with a raised hand. So I think we're good. Somebody raised their hand, so we're good. Please proceed. We're good.
Me, okay.
Yes. Yeah.
So my name is Cynthia Franca. I live in Hopkinton since January 2013. My address is 35 Smith Road. And I wrote, as a poet and a writer, I wrote my comments and I like to read and share with you. My connection with the Hopkinton community. HKN TV represents for me my connection with Hopkinton community. When I first moved from Brazil to Hopkinton back in January 2013, I searched for information about my new town as a new resident. And the only information that I had when I was still living in Brazil was the school system was terrific, and Hopkinton was the town where Boston Marathon started. Just that. And then I moved here. What did I find here? Much more than that. I found a unique and vibrant community that welcomes you with open arms and open hearts. Where did I find that? HKN TV. Through HKN TV and the people I met here, I began to connect with the people in our town. I get involved in programs like Wake Up and Smell the Poetry as a guest feature and also open mic enthusiastic, sharing my bilingual poetry and meeting beautiful people in their studio. The crew, I know their names, I know each of them. The poets, the host, my dear friend Cheryl, they are like family. Meet Your Neighbor is also another program that I love. It's exciting old members of our community through the interviews, very intimate interviews. Also, I was one of their guests. HKN also covers school events. When you moved, my son was 11 years old, just started middle school. Through his 6th grade, through his 12th grade in high school, and his graduation, HKN has been present in the sports, music, graduation, and all the main events at school. They also bring update news about what's going on in our town. In addition, they are present in many art events, running events, sharing events, small and big events. Also, my family in Brazil can watch the events. What do all have in common? You, me, us. Our unique, authentic, interconnected voices are shared in this small window from the lenses of a camera that make a local TV part of a big screen of our lives. HKN is the identity of our community and its people. It's our local voice. And through HKN TV, I learned that we are all welcome here. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Yes.
Excuse me, I am the stenographer, so I was here. I was just hooked on a different way. I don't know what happened, so
Thank you.
I've been here since the beginning.
Yes.
Ben, do you think you could bring Evan in?
Evan, yep.
Hello, Evan.
Evan,
He's connecting.
Oh, okay.
Evan, go ahead.
Hello, everyone. How are you?
Good.
Thanks so much for having me. And I certainly don't want to take a lot of time, but I wanted to take this opportunity to just talk on behalf of the school system and their collaboration and work with HCAM. It's been a pleasure, and it always has in my 15 years working in Hopkinton, to have such a supportive local cable access television station.
Sorry, Evan, may you please have your full name and address?
Sorry, yep. It's Evan Bishop, a principal at the high school, Hopkinton High School. So I just wanted to just talk about the connection that we have with HCAM and how they've been able to help us from an educational standpoint, connect with the community, particularly over the last 18 months, being able to be at all of our sporting events so parents can watch their children play during COVID, We recently had a National Honor Society event where we had some parents in person, but couldn't have everyone there. And they, within 15 hours notice, got there and were able to videotape, live stream the event for people to watch from home. And I think as people are starting to get more and more comfortable or maybe not coming in person to events, HCAM is so critical for us to be able to reach the community with all the great things that we're doing, not only at the high school, but district-wide from a school system. So they have a number of different programs that many school officials are a part of. They incorporate our kids, teach them how to work at HCAM, and how that all comes together as a community event in terms of different aspects of shows that are on there, as well as informational opportunities. So, I can't speak highly enough from the school system about HCAM and what they're able to do for us in the partnership that we have for them and the collaboration that we have with them, which is, I think is unique and very special in Hopkinton. So Jim Cousin and his crew, I really tip my hat to them. They do such a wonderful job, and would really hate to see that change. I think we need that partnership moving forward, especially now, to continue to reach everyone in the community. Thank you.
Thank you, Evan. Who wants to go next?
Tim Kilduff has raised his hand.
Mr. Kilduff, you're on.
All right, promoting him. Joining. He's in here.
How's that?
We can hear you.
We can hear you.
There you go.
You can?
We can see you now.
And you hear me?
We can hear you loud and clear, Mr. Kilduff.
Well, Mr. Kamalo, nice to visit with you over Zoom and those associated with HCAM. My name's Tim Kilduff. I've been a resident of Hopkinton since the mid-'70s. So I've seen the town go through a tremendous amount of change. And I can tell you most of it has been absolutely positive. HCAM, I don't think I could overstate the asset that they are to the community, but some of the characteristics of not just Jim Cousins but his entire team. The words that come to mind are flexible, because they are flexible. They're very spirited. And that's important when you have a town that's gone through the rapid growth and change that Hopkinton has. To maintain a level of spirit is really critical. By flexible, I mean I'm involved with the very active Hopkinton Chamber of Commerce. I'm also the president of something called the 26.2 Foundation, a nonprofit organization centered around the sport of marathoning. And it's a group that's looking to build a very substantial international marathon center in Hopkinton. So one of the things that's important for us is when HCAM covers our events, they become a source of communication for us. So we literally push their programming out to a global network. We have, for example, connections with 350 international races, both marathons and other long distance races. So what they cover in Hopkinton literally gets shared with the world. We have very active partnerships with Marathon Greece and communities in China. So we're able to project Hopkinton to not just the local network, which is really, or the local residents, which are really critical, but to literally a global network. I've also had the opportunity to, Jim might laugh when I use this word, but I've been around long enough that I've sort of had an opportunity to sort of inspect the growth of HCAM and how they handle resources. They're extremely efficient. They've been able to build a studio that is used a lot by the community, and it again becomes a tool for those of us that want to project our programs out to the broader community. So they use resources rather effectively and efficiently. whatever funds they have, they have earned the right to continue to receive those funds. As far as I'm concerned, they're very effective. They're community-based, and they support Hopkinton across the board. They're very sensitive about covering town government events and meetings. Extremely critical, particularly over the last year and a half, when we had to resort to the Zoom to publicize those meetings. That's been a real asset for the community, and has allowed the community to stay up to date on what's happening in the community. So I'm a huge fan, as you can tell. I'm extremely enthusiastic about what they're doing, and I think there are more good things to come. And then finally, and you'll hear more about this from someone else. As you know, as some of you know, the Boston Marathon starts here. A community group came forward and wanted to create a video which expressed Hopkinton's appreciation, love for marathoners. And they were able to do that because of HCAM's partnership. So, continued good luck to them. And my hope is that the resources that will allow them to expand and grow will be available to them. So thank you for the time, and I appreciate it.
Thank you, Tim. Anybody else next?
Norman, I have a quick question.
Go ahead.
As you were reading your introduction, I thought I heard you say that the Comcast and Verizon licenses have expiration dates.
Yes.
And part of this meeting was to determine what input for extending or renewing their license to operate in Hopkinton. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Okay. Then I may offer some comments.
Please
Okay.
proceed.
My name is Mary Arnott. I live at 51 Teresa Road here in Hopkinton. I've been involved with HCAM for about 16 years. I've lived in Hopkinton about 33. I hope that the cable licenses will be renewed, but only if they agree to continue to support and fund community access media, specifically HCAM, because as everyone here is going to offer very eloquently and very thoroughly comments about how important HCAM is to our community. And though I wouldn't want to lose my cable access, I'll give it up if they don't support HCAM. There's many examples I could offer, and I'd like to start with one that's not too in the distant past. And it was at an annual meeting that was held outside under a big tent last year. And even though it was May, it was very cold. And there were very important articles that had to be voted on. And there were enough people in the beginning of the meeting, and HCAM was there televising. But then some people left the meeting, and there were some more important articles that came up, and we didn't have a quorum. So a message went out to the community via the broadcasting by HCAM. Please, if you're at home, come down to the meeting if you're watching and be part of the voting body so that we can finish up the meeting. And guess what? We got enough people to come back and participate in the meeting, and the meeting was able to be concluded that same day. Now, there's no other television station that would have been broadcasting that for us. So that's just one small example, but a very important one of the role that HCAM played. And of course, all the government meetings that's been mentioned at HCAM broadcasts very faithfully. All of the educational, not only on the education channel, but also all the sports and everything. So they have a studio, of course, here on Main Street. They have the studio at the schools. There's such active participation. And if you want any reason at all to believe in how important HCAM is to this community, all you have to do is look at Jim and the small staff that he has, how efficiently they run it. But if it wasn't important to the community, they wouldn't also have all of the volunteers that participate through programming, through running cameras, through producing shows. And I do have to, I guess, give full disclosure. I've been part of that team. and a member of the HCAM board for many, many years. So I can go on and give many examples, but I'm sure that I'm going to run out of my 3 minutes very quickly here. I just want to thank everybody who's come to throw their support. And again, I reiterate to our cable partners, whenever they get this message, I'm happy to have you in town, but not without you broadcasting our HCAM channels. We need you, the community needs you. And so I look forward to that continuing for many, many years, forever. Thank you.
Forever indeed. Thank you so much for your comments. Who wants to go next?
I guess I'll go next.
Yeah.
My name is Terry Malisi, and I live at 74 Downey Street. And I've been in town since 79. And as Tim said earlier, we have seen a lot of growth in this town. When I spent part of my growing up in Holliston, Hopkinton only had one traffic light down at the Four Corners by where Colella's used to be. So if you can think back at that and how far we've come where we are today, and HCAM has been there for so long, contributing to the community and its growth. I can't say enough about the station. From my point of view, I was volunteering cooking at the senior center when Mary McLeod asked if I'd be interested in hosting a cooking show. So I think that was back in 2004. And I've been doing it ever since. And with what I've learned from Jim and his team, it's just indescribable. They took a passion that I had and allowed me to project it to the community. It's just a small part of what they offer, but for me, it's absolutely huge. And every aspect of the time that's passed, my show personally, The Gathering, would be, whenever it was shown, recorded, but when the pandemic hit, they asked if I wanted to do it live, which I thought, well, that's really interesting. So we did. And so then the show became a live show for an hour once a week. And that went on for like maybe 3 months. And then I had a little break, and then we came back and did it bi-weekly. But it just goes to show you that no matter what you're going through, they're always there to adapt and help you continue and to grow. And that's certainly been my experience. And as everybody's mentioned, with all the programming that they produce for the government, the education, the sports, the government meetings, it's really amazing. I have not seen out of my time here one negative thing, not one, with anybody, with just, it's amazing to me. So for me to be a part of it, I'm truly honored, and I really hope you continue the funding for this, because it's just so important for our community, and it's huge. I don't know. That's all I can say, I guess.
Thank you. Go ahead.
Can I speak to?
I really enjoy it when people ignore me.
And it's 3 minutes.
As much as you need.
As much as I need.
Have you spoken with Cheryl before?
Go ahead, Cheryl.
I give it some of my time. I don't think I used 3 minutes.
Oh, well, I will try to organize my thoughts, because when I think of my gratitude for HCAM TV, for Jim Cousins, Mike Terosian, and the crew, my mind is exploding, really. And that is that I'm speaking from great gratitude. My name is Cheryl Peralt, and I live at 219 Ash Street in Hopkinton. I have been living on Ash Street for 27 years, and I have raised two daughters in this town with my husband. And I know HCAM TV through my connection to my daughters going to the schools, the many different events that have been covered by HCAM TV through time. My daughter's going to be 30 now. So part of her school career, I remember the milestones that were represented, graduations and proms and piano recitals with Chaim Pickles. And I know there were so many others who were part of the community who were able to either be in the studio or watch it after, or both even, or purchase or get a recording even for, we have ours. That is one component, and I know how important HCAM has been, especially for the schools. And I know also as a viewer, so many different programs that have been resources for our town and community over time, whether it's addressing health or cooking or the arts in town as well. And I'm grateful for that. And more recently in dealing with the global pandemic and how HCAM TV stepped up and stepped in at 2 o'clock every day. Yes, every day, to have a program to provide resources, words of support, speakers to come in and help guide the community, and everyone not knowing what to do. This is the first time of a pandemic for us all, and feeling more connected through those programs. I'm grateful for that. And then I have to speak personally from my connection with the different TV programs I've been involved with for over 14 years now, living here. And I never thought I would be involved with TV, cable TV. But I happen to have been asked to host a poetry reading for Saturday mornings at Bellingham Cafe. The cafe closed. And then the CAA at that time invited me to bring the poetry reading into the farmhouse as people were coming in, and HCAM TV brought a camera, and it was filling up and we had no space. And that was when Jim and the crew invited me to join the studio, bring the program Wake Up and Smell the Poetry to the HCAM TV studio. And that lasted for 14 years. And I like to think of it in a similar way to the Boston Marathon in a way, because the studio was open and available to people of our community based on publicity, welcoming people to come in and hear guest speakers share poetry, songwriters, musicians, storytellers, and authors once a month on Saturday mornings. And also the communities beyond were also welcome to come in and join and mix. And we have had people come from as far as Vietnam. We had a guest come in here from different countries as well over time. We've had people from as young as age 2 to as old as 97 come in and be a part of that program. And we have had all kinds of wonderful artists and writers and performers offering their art as a free program. And also the opportunity, which was Jim, to suggesting that open mic participants could be filmed as well as the guest performers. So, and that was an amazing part of the program, and often very full, with a lineup of people from near and far who had the opportunity to share some of their own original part. So there was a opportunity for a community not just to be audience, but part of the live provision of performance art and literary art as well. It was well loved. There were many hugs, many friendships made, collaborations made. People got together and wrote songs and performance together. I will write a book maybe someday about all of the things that happened there. And it ended, the season ended as COVID began. And it was kind of on the idea of cheers, where everybody knows your name. I think as people were very familiar with each other, but there were always newcomers coming in. And I had the opportunity, because I had also interviewed people for hospice and learned about the importance of doing interviews and getting people to review their life, how important it is to share our stories and look at our own lives for self-growth, but also for sharing in our community, getting to know our residents, called Meet Your Neighbor. And I did that almost as long as the host with Mike Tarosian, filming those programs, and loved every bit of that, as well as more recently Common Ground Storytelling, which I was able to host true storytelling on the idea of the moth, only on Zoom through HCAM TV, which I had hosted previously in 3 different live settings with people, and felt like during last year was a good time to get together and share true stories on different themes, like about friendship, about the environment, about love. And we were able, thanks to Jim and crew, to have each participant record their own story in advance and show it in a lineup with 10 different stories for each month. And Jim did a beautiful job, and Jim and Mike, in providing the setting for that. And we had a lot of live viewers, as well as people afterwards watching the program and hearing one another's stories. And from the feedback I received, also to be inspired by those stories during a very hard time in our world and locally in our community. And there have been other programs as well. That would be once or twice that happened with the library, at the senior center, with their book project that have been filmed, that we have been able to bring the arts and community gatherings together. And then more recently, as Tim Kilduff mentioned, the Bobby's Gift event, that when Bobby spoke at the sculpture unveiling recently, and made specific reference to the film because she was awarded honorary Hopkinton citizen. And she made reference to the film that Jim and crew and Karen worked on, and said how she loved the film. And she loved the film because it reminded her she loves the town of Hopkinton, and she loves the concept of love, and believes it is so important for the world of us all to be more love-minded in these days. And she had quite an amazing follow-up of those words in her speech, which I was thrilled for, because that's exactly the purpose of the film, and for Hopkinton to be seen as a welcoming and unifying and love-minded town and community. And so I have great gratitude for all the programs that have been made possible, that I've been a part of, as well as I've witnessed for others. And I see how it really has made our town strong and more united, connected, and caring for each other. And I feel it's been incredibly valuable, and I'm so grateful.
Thank you.
That's just about 3 minutes.
Almost. 2 minutes, 59 seconds.
Right, well,
So, anybody, Ben, you want to find out?
Yes.
Please go ahead.
Michelle Murdoch, who will be joining shortly. There we go.
A minute. Can you hear me now?
Go ahead, Michelle.
Okay, am I muted or not? No?
We can hear you.
Oh, okay. All right, so my name is Michelle Murdoch. I live at 53 School Street in Hopkinton. I've also been here about 27 years. I should state up front that I am the president of the HCAM Board of Directors. And I'm also a former employee of HCAM. I was the inaugural news director. So I've been involved with HCAM probably starting in 2010. And I'm not going to reiterate everything that everyone else has said, but I think the key focus here is that HCAM is absolutely a critical source of information for the community in many, many different areas. They connect the community, the different groups, and I'm also a strong proponent of support for governmental meetings. I think they're critical to helping people stay involved and up to date. Not everyone has time to attend meetings, and if they're recorded, they're always there. As a former reporter, I can't tell you how many of them I have watched. And the information is always, it's very easy to access and it's great coverage. My only other comment, I think the HCAM staff goes above and beyond and the volunteers in connecting to the community and everybody involved. It's just they're just avid fans and very dedicated. They do a great job. And I'm going to put in a big plug for Jim Cousins as the station manager. I've known Jim for a long time, and he's one smart guy. He knows his technology, stays up to date, is always looking how to improve and how to do things better and provide better coverage, more connectivity. Did a fabulous job during COVID in utilizing HCAM resources. And in the end, he really enables the best use of the resources that are made available. So I am, again, going to strongly support maintaining the critical funding to keep HCAM a part of the community and doing a wonderful job.
Thank you, Michelle.
You're welcome.
Ben,
Yes.
anybody else?
No one else has their hand raised. But there are other people here, but none of them have their hands up.
John Ritz, where's John?
Yeah, please.
Somebody wants to raise their hand.
Please, we are looking forward to hearing your comments, input, and feedback. Raise your hand so that we can connect you via the network. Raise your hand.
I'm happy to talk some more.
There are several people who wanted to be here and couldn't be here and sent me their comments and asked if I could read them into the record. Is that allowable?
Because we have time, yes, we'll allow you to read them into the record. We normally would just simply accept them as written comments submitted.
Thank you. I know they'll appreciate that. As a superintendent of the Hopkinton Public Schools, I am writing in support of HCAM TV. I could share so many ways in which the relationship between HCAM and the schools benefit the entire Hopkinton community. However, I have synthesized some ideas below. Please know that HCAM is a pillar in our community, supporting both strong communication and a sense of unity. These are three areas in which HCAM and the schools share an important relationship: broadcasting important information. As superintendent, my communication with parents and caretakers is limited to email. As you may know, people aren't very careful with email. They get so much of it. Further, I have no ability to directly access the community. HCAM provides me the medium to share important information with families and the community. While prior to the pandemic, my relationship with HCAM was critical. During the COVID-19 pandemic, the role of HCAM had never been more vital to the Hopkinton Public Schools and our community. HCAM proved to truly stabilize the community during this time of need, broadcasting meetings at HCAM studios. The HCAM facility is an amazing studio from which all school committee meetings are broadcast. The professionalism of the staff, the quality of the equipment, and the accommodations of the venue make public meetings, where we frequently have audience members and esteemed guests, a breeze. Broadcasting the excellence of the Hopkinton Public Schools. Not only does HCAM serve to provide information about the schools, but our relationship offers the community viewers of all of our athletic contests a show entitled Highlights from the Hill, broadcasts of our dramatic band, chorus, and orchestra presentations, and more. These are the services that go beyond the adults and highlight the excellence of the students of Hopkinton. Research bears out that students are bolstered when they have a venue in which they can demonstrate their talents and skills. HCAM provides that for our community's youth. With admiration and gratitude to HCAM and its staff, Carol Kavanaugh. For several years, I have been associated with HCAM.
Excuse me 1 second. Can you just slow down a little bit? It's hard to hear you with the masks and everything. Okay. Thank you.
For several years, I have been associated with HCAM in Hopkinton. I was first introduced to HCAM by volunteering for the committee to review and recommend the renewal of the Comcast license with the town. Because of this, I took the Introduction to HCAM course run by Mr. Cousins to get more firsthand knowledge of the station and its operation. This led to my deciding to volunteer to film some high school sports and studio shows. This led to my eventually taking over the government meeting filming. I have seen the value of our community station, both TV for local shows and information on town government and health information from the DPW to the health department. HCAM was able to quickly respond to the Zoom requirements for public meetings, which allowed the citizens access to ongoing health updates on TV and YouTube. HCAM has broadcast town meetings and election information throughout the years. Many citizens would not have access to these informative and entertaining productions without the work of the HCAM staff and volunteers. HCAM continues to provide the town with the valuable asset, information. HCAM is seen and represented around the country via its YouTube channel. Even when you are away from the town for any reason, you can still follow your children and grandchildren in their social activities. Many government committee members can still participate in their meeting when away from town or unable to attend in person. HCAM is well worth the funding required to maintain this valuable asset. Robert Hamilton, Claflin Place. HCAM is not only great for the people of Hopkinton to gain information, it's a fantastic way for students with an interest in learning the ways a studio is run to gain experience. I myself had a show on HCAM and also helped with some other shows, and it was a wonderful experience, and I learned a lot about the operation behind the scenes. Frank Arena. HCAM unites our community. It allows residents to see so much of what goes on in Hopkinton when they are unable to be there. The live coverage of town meetings keeps us informed. HCAM's coverage of local sports is exceptional, as are the vast selection of shows produced by the people of Hopkinton. The public access channels of HCAM allow the people of Hopkinton to express their voice on issues that they are passionate about. HCAM broadcasts educational programs. In addition, they educate our youth on how to run their own TV station. Kids can produce their own shows. What a wonderful growth experience. As co-owner of the local newspaper and website in Hopkinton, I know how much our business benefits from HCAM's programming. We could not provide the new services like we do if it wasn't for HCAM. The station provides a service to all of the community that is not replaceable by a for-profit enterprise. If HCAM wasn't here, we would lose open access to government, educational, and public programming that enriches our lives. Suzanne Odell Farber. HCAM is an incredibly important resource in our community. Town meetings, school events, local performances, local people creating shows of community interest. and shows which are just for fun or to educate. I am so grateful for HCAM TV and everyone who works or volunteers to bring these shows to Hopkinton. Margie Wiggin. I am not able to attend the hearing, but wanted to share my opinion of HCAM. I do not have children, so I haven't enjoyed the benefits of being personally connected to the Hopkinton school system, etc. However, as an HCAM volunteer and while helping record some of the sports activities and candidate debates, I have come to know and appreciate the breadth and depth of the Hopkinton's education community. HCAM provides a great opportunity for adults like me to connect with the wider Hopkinton community, as well as for students interested in learning content development and production skills, so valuable in today's visually oriented society. I come from the communications field where the opportunities for such training used to be available through formal coursework and/or internships. It is a great opportunity for students and others to gain this experience, and wait for it, it is free. Additionally, through coverage of some of the Hopkinton Center for the Arts events, I have stimulated my own creative pursuits while simultaneously enjoying performances of outstanding musicians. I wish you and HCAM continued success in Hopkinton. We are a better town with HCAM beside us. Jean M. Kaminsky, 31 Cross Street. For a nonprofit like us, the Hopkinton Garden Club, HCAM provides a reliable resource to get information about our club out to the community. They also offer to help create material if needed. HCAM works to provide a central repository of information describing the services all nonprofit organizations bring to our community. For our community, HCAM's website, newscasts, daily emails, and bulletin boards offer a wide range of news on local happenings. HCAM is easy to work with, professional in their presentation, and a fantastic resource for our town. Given Jim and his crew their dedication, professionalism, and service to Hopkinton that is not matched by any other service. HCAM is integral to our community, and we look forward to many more years of working with them and enjoying their efforts to provide these services. Hopkinton Garden Club and Hussey Hugaboom. I want to encourage renewal of the HCAM license as well as a continued generous operating budget. HCAM offers so many invaluable benefits to the town of Hopkinton, even more so in this time of COVID. HCAM allows community involvement and engagement that would otherwise be more challenging or impossible for many residents. HCAM offers us the opportunity to keep up to date on local government, tune in to see local activities and sports, learn about community groups and other news, and so much more. Too much to list here. Hopkinton would be a substantially less informed and well-rounded community without HCAM. In addition, Jim is always working to improve communications, not just via HCAM, but throughout the community. I hope you give your full support to this significant resource. Alexis Miller. There are not enough praise words to describe the positive value of HCAM your team has brought to the town. The quality of programs, future program planning, and never-ending ideas offer a community spirit that has always made me proud of our local cable station. Many thanks for many years of dependable local programs and click. Unfortunately, I am unable to attend the forum, but I wanted to express my wholehearted support for HCAM TV and HCAM Ed. Having the ability to watch various town events through cable television, hear what is happening in town through interviews and live streams, etc., has been invaluable to me as a resident of the town and also as a leader of a nonprofit organization. I'm hopeful that our cable companies will continue to support this important work that HCAM provides for the town of Hopkinton. Abby Rosenberg. I will never forget our first shows taped at the Town Hall Senior Center in the basement. It was like a seed being planted, and look at what it grew to be. It is amazing what HCAM brings to the community every day. HCAM is like a faithful friend. We are connected to each other. We are not alone. It is a safe place to share our topics of choice and meet the needs of our wonderful community. Thank you, Jim, and all of you for your strength and courage. Mary McLeod. I am sorry that I cannot attend the hearing. I would like to go on the record that HCAM is vital to Polyarts, a nonprofit under the Hopkinton Cultural Council. Our annual event, Hopkinton Polyarts Festival, raises money to provide 2 scholarships to graduating Hopkinton seniors majoring or minoring in the arts. HCAM is the platform we use as our website for vendor and nonprofit applications, rules and regulations, and applications for scholarships. We so appreciate all that you do for us. Trish Koza. HCAM has been a tremendous organization in terms of connecting our school to the community, and just as important, connecting our students to our school. Our HMS TV club anchors our school and is a highlight of the week for our students and staff. Even deeper is the impact that this club has had on those students in front and behind the camera who find a home with this club and a place in our school. As principal, I rely upon HCAM to keep the community informed about what is happening within the walls of our school and to keep me informed about happenings within Hopkinton. HCAM has not only been invaluable, but has become essential. Alan Keller, principal of middle school. HCAM TV represents my connection with Hopkinton community. Oh, that was you. One more, and then we'll show. My name is John Ritz, and I have been an HCAM volunteer for 15 years, since November 2006. I am also a member of the HCAM board, serving as the board's trustee. The recent pandemic has created extraordinary challenges for us all, and access stations throughout the country have stepped up in amazing ways. HCAM is no exception. The station's staff quickly grasped the importance of their services and developed new programming to keep the community informed and, most importantly, connected. During a time when we were told to isolate, HCAM brought us together. The daily Hopkinton Hangout Hour, a weekly quarantine cooking show, church services, a weekly show for seniors, broadcasts of government meetings held on Zoom, all helped Hopkinton residents stay in touch with each other. As the restrictions eased and we began to gather again in limited settings, HCAM once again stepped up. When spectators were banned from school sports, HCAM committed to providing live broadcasts of nearly every contest, from freshman through varsity levels. The response confirmed the value of this effort, sometimes with 100+ simultaneous viewers of the live YouTube feed. Many of these viewers were from outside town, with grandparents watching grandchildren they hadn't been able to visit. HCAM also worked with the school's music department to record and broadcast an outdoor performance by the high school band, the first concert for that group since the pandemic began. Senior recognition night and graduation were broadcast, allowing these traditions to continue. And HCAM worked with the schools to cover a new tradition, the senior car parade through town. For all the tragedy and difficulties associated with the pandemic, it has illuminated the value of public access stations. They have been and continue to be key assets to the communities they serve. They inform, entertain, and connect the residents to each other and to their towns. HCAM has been a leader in public access for years and has risen to the task of responding to the pandemic exceptionally well. It is committed to serving the town and deserves to continue to be recognized as an important part of what makes Hopkinton special. John Ritz. HCAM is an important component of public relations, getting the word out for the friends of the Hopkinton Public Library. Sharing our information about programs and fundraisers on HCAM allows us to reach a broader cross-section of the community than we might otherwise. HCAM works well for our purposes and is a valuable tool to help achieve community. Marion Spencer, Friends of the Hopkinton Public Library.
Thank you. I want to take this opportunity to thank everybody here as well as online for your very robust and thoughtful comments, suggestions, and commendations. Want also to share that a record of this hearing will be made public, individually presented in a public meeting to the select board. So I really would thank you for your input.
Norm, one procedural question.
Go ahead.
Okay, this is for Paula, the stenographer. First, thank you. The stenographers always do a lot of hard work there, so thank you very much. Paula, can you include a copy of the legal advertisement as an exhibit to the transcript?
Yes.
All right, so how should we do that? Should we just email you the text of the newspaper notice?
Yes, if you want to email me another, I have one, but why don't you email me another one just to make sure?
Well, if you have one.
Well, that way I know it's the one that you want, and just in case there's
Right.
any,
I mean, I'm okay. How should I get your email address from Greg Franks or,
I can give it to you afterwards.
okay. Yeah, how?
I'll email it to you.
Okay, great. You can get that easily
Yep.
from Comcast.
Yeah.
They know where to find me. Okay. Also, thank you to the speakers and especially to Norm Khumalo for getting this going in a timely fashion. It really helps the process. Thanks.
Okay, thank you, everybody. And at this point, 6:59, the meeting will adjourn.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank
Yeah.
you.